Lesson 32 is about word problems, and this will be an application of what you learned in Lesson 30 when you were talking about algebraic phrases and statements. Let's just go ahead and do some practice problems. Now remember, in Lesson 30 you would take an English sentence or phrase and you would turn that into an algebraic phrase. That means it just was consisting of numbers and letters. Here it will be the same thing. You'll look at this English phrase or sentence, the sum of twice a number and negative 33 equals 17. You need to turn that into an algebraic equation. So it's going to have an equal sign in it, and you will solve that equation just like you've been doing solutions of equations where you use your addition rule, multiplication rule to figure out what the unknown variable is. So let's just read this through, and usually how I do these is just read them left to right, and I'm looking for keywords that help me figure out what to do and how to set the equation up. So the sum, that tells me I'm doing addition because sum is the result of addition. The sum of twice a number and negative 33. So let's just stop there and write that down. Twice a number, that would be like 2, and I'll use the descriptive variable n for number, and then negative 33, so I would just add a negative 33 on the end. And so that represents the sum of twice a number and negative 33. Equals 17. So we put an equal sign, 17. And now I want to find the number. So I just use my addition and multiplication rules to isolate the n. And so I just add 33 to both sides. And I'd end up with 2n is equal to 50. Then divide both sides by 2, and you can probably do that in your head. 50 divided by 2, that's 25. So we'll just skip showing that step, and we'll just say n equals 25. And so there's the answer. Anytime you're doing word problems, it's real important for you to just look for key words and you just think to yourself, okay, what words are going to help me set up this equation? The word sum, that's a real important one. The word equals, that's a real important one. Sum tells you you're doing an addition statement, and then equals, that tells you where the equal sign goes and what's on the left and what's on the right of the equal sign. And just like as we read that sentence, the English sentence, twice a number and negative 33 is to the left of equals 17. When we write our algebraic equation, 2n minus 33 is on the left and equals 17, that's on the right. It's just like the English sentence. It's written left to right in the same manner. Let's read through this practice problem. That's always what we want to do on a word problem, is just read it through one time first. Find a number such that if 3 times the number is decreased by 15, the result is twice the opposite of the number. Okay, well let's just go ahead and left to right we'll start writing our algebraic equation, just like the words in the English sentence are left to right. Find a number, so we know we're trying to find an unknown value, such that if 3 times the number, so that would be a 3n, and I'm going to write it over here to the right above that problem. So 3 times the number, that'd be 3n, is decreased by 15. So if I decreased something by a certain amount, I'd have to subtract that amount, right? So if it's decreased by 15, that would mean 3n minus 15. So find a number such that if 3 times the number is decreased by 15, the result is, now that's a key word there, the result. That means equals. So there's our equal sign. And we just need to think about that. When we see find a number, that's a key phrase there. That's telling us I'm going to make an equation. If it says find a number, I've got to make an equation. So the result is twice the opposite of the number. So twice, that would be 2 times the opposite, so that would be 2 times minus n. So if this number is n, the opposite of the number would be minus n, because that's how opposites work, right? They're just negatives of each other. So now we have our algebraic equation here. Let's go ahead and solve it. Now we know on the right there, 2 times minus n, that's the same thing as saying negative 2n. So I'm just going to cancel that and write a negative 2n above it. And we want to get the variables all on one side, so let's add a negative 3n to both sides. And so now I'll have negative 15 is equal to negative 5n. And then I would divide both sides by negative 5. So that cancels on the right side, and I have negative 15 over negative 5. That would be a positive 3. So n is equal to 3, or 3 equals n, either way you want to say it. So we've read through this problem, and some of the key words here were times. That told us that we were multiplying 3 times a number, and then decreased by. That's actually a phrase there. That tells us we are subtracting 15 from 3 times a number. Result, that tells us for about an equal sign, and then twice the opposite. Opposite, that tells us a negative number, a negative variable. Let's do one more problem. This one says the sum of 2 times a number and 15 is 41. Find the number. If you want to, pause the CD and see if you can figure this out on your own. So the sum of 2 times a number, we just read this left to right looking for keywords. Sum, that's a keyword, so we know that means addition. I'm going to add 2 times the number and 15. So I would say 2n, I'll use that descriptive variable n, which stands for number, 2 times the number, and 15, so that means plus 15 is 41. Now is, that's a key word there. That means equals in this case. Equals 41. So a lot of times when you see the word is, that will mean equals. Sum of 2 times the number and 15 equals or is 41. Now we need to find the number, so we use our addition rule, add a negative 15 to both sides. And so the 15s cancel on the left, we get 26 on the right. So we'll have 2n is equal to 26. So we're just dividing by 2 here now, and we can just do that in our heads. 26 over 2 would just be 13. n is equal to 13. You can't do enough of these word problems. So if I were you, I would do the practice problems in the book as well as the example problems that they have. Look through those too and see if you can figure those out without looking at the solutions that they have there. When you're doing these word problems, you've got to recognize the key words or phrases in the sentence and convert that into an algebraic equation and solve it for the unknown value. Okay, well that's all for lesson 32.